Look, there's the palace. We just need to pass through these ruins.
I mean, Frankie has a good point. If there is something really fucking lovely about this game, it's that I can say there's only 90 minutes of this left. 90 minutes of this hollow emptiness with sparse decorations, floaty combat,
More for me.
and lots of sand. So much fucking sand. Okay, let's start talking about the actual level here and stop feeling bad. This level reminds me a lot of the Aladdin game Nadira's Revenge for some strange reason, which is a bit of an insult to that Aladdin game. Even though that Aladdin game did feel empty, it certainly tried to be creative with its platforming and puzzles in a few places. Also, that game's draw distance was so bad that I couldn't tell sometimes how empty it was. That would be very welcome here. I got the name fucked up, by the way. That Aladdin game is called Nasira's Revenge, not Nadira. Nadira is a villain in Power Rangers Time Force. I know, they're such similar games. It's very, very easy to get the two confused. This level really sucks because it's a prime example of how the game could be inoffensive instead of soul-sucking if they just scaled things down a lot. Like this puzzle right here, where you have to rotate the statues and platform across them to reach the collectible. Not a bad puzzle, but look how much empty space there is. Look how far you have to walk to get between the switches and to actually get up there. Look at how long it takes for... Whew. This is an incredibly straightforward, boring puzzle that you see in a lot of 3D platformers, especially licensed ones, and there's nothing like offensively wrong with this puzzle. It's just a normal rotate the statues and use them as platforms puzzle. But it's the use of 3D space in this fucking video game that makes it so irritating. With the exception of exactly one single room, the empty vastness that you've seen in this game so far, it pervades the entire experience, the whole thing. It never suddenly gets better. The level design never suddenly gets sensible. I had hope for that when I was playing it. I hope that, you know, maybe now is the good level. This is the level that's okay instead of hurting me. It's so weird how differently I would be talking about this game if it weren't just so empty. Like, these hazards, they're fine. This puzzle I did with moving the statues, that's fine. This next room, the platforming in this room, it's fine. None of the actual platforming or puzzles or bland game design is the issue in this case. You know? If the game were as bland as I wanted it to be, I would just be telling you, yeah, this game is bland right now. There's nothing, like, super interesting about it. You probably don't want to play it because it's so boring, but it's okay. But because of this one incredibly strange decision to allocate their resources in the worst way possible, instead of going, this is a bland video game, I'm struggling. If this were any other video game, and I was for some reason let's playing a really generic 3D platformer, during this section, instead of sounding like I'm struggling to get a sentence out, I would be saying, this is your standard platforms moving in and out of walls puzzle. Very basic timing, probably good if you're new to 3D platformers, as most of this game is. A sentence like that would probably... God, look at how empty this room is. Look at this. Please, for the love of God, someone, anyone, tell me how it got this way. I demand to know. I'm laughing, crying right now. I demand to know how the game got in this state. I want to fucking know. This curiosity made me play through this whole thing twice, and now I'm talking over it. I want to know how the game got in this state. What's even the point of these platforms right here? We just did this platforms moving in and out of walls puzzle, but in the previous room it was harder because the platforms were tinier. Why did you put an easier version of the puzzle where the platforms were bigger in the room after the harder version? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. That is not how game design progression works. You put the harder stuff after the easier stuff. Why did you do it backward? How did you do it backwards? You already had the moving platforms just use the same ones. Maybe spread them out a little more. You know?
That never gets old.
Oh yeah, Cleo can teleport.
That never gets old.
For some reason. I don't fucking know. It's not important. Oh, by the way, when we press this switch, something really cool happens. We have to go all the way the fuck back up there. Isn't that neat, how we have to go back up there again? Because you definitely wanted to do that in this video game of all things. You know, normally small pathfinding like this makes me feel good. When there's cute little bits of pathfinding like that. It's not impressive, it's not important, but it shows you that some thought went into the environmental design. But for some reason I don't feel that here, all I feel is contempt. It is going to feel so good after I'm done with Monster High 13 Wishes to play these games that I'm excited to share and actually enjoy. It's going to feel so good.
That never gets old.
Because I like saying positive things about video games a lot. I do not like complaining. Well, that room's over. That incredibly empty, soulless room. Hey look, here's a room that was done better in Nicktoons Unite on the Nintendo DS. Anytime you see water, it's a fair bet that Laguna's Skolette is in it. Because whenever there's water, only Laguna can use it. So why wouldn't her Skolette be in the water? It's just how it works in this game. This room also has some pathfinding that I would actually probably think is cool in another game. But this game wore down my free will so much that it just kind of hurts. If we swim in here, we can see Laguna's Skolette behind some bars, but we can't reach it. Or rather, that's an orb, but her Skolette is also behind some bars. But we can't reach it? So you may wonder how we're supposed to get to it. And the answer is actually not a terrible environmental puzzle, actually a pretty decent environmental puzzle. But I didn't expect it to be here because of the rest of the game lowered my expectations so thoroughly. You may notice these blocks have big holes in them. There is a reason for that. That reason is very important to the previously discussed environmental puzzle. The environmental puzzle in this room puts me in a really weird place because it makes me feel like they cared a little bit. Not enough for it to show throughout the entire game, but for this one specific optional collectible, I guess. It's not even a great puzzle, it's just so much better than the rest of the game that it warrants attention. You wouldn't even know to do it either, because you know, like me, your standards might have been lowered so much that you might not even think of it. Oh, the combat in this game really shouldn't exist. I wish the enemies didn't make crying baby noises when they died. Anyway, if we ground pound this block, it slams down in place, which allows us to swim through and get Laguna's Skolette and that orb. Because, you know, the block had a hole in it. So now we can swim down through it. That's the environmental puzzle I was talking about. It's okay, you know? In a better game, I would be praising it right now. And I guess I still kind of am. It's not bad. It's just when you look at all the emptiness surrounding it, it is hard to stay positive, if you understand me. Would I rather be playing this or Donkey Kong 64? You know, scratch that. Would you rather play this or Donkey Kong 64? You don't have to 100% either of them, but you do have to finish them. Would you rather play this shit or Donkey Kong 64? I want to know. I'm curious. Because even though this game hurts, if I had to play one to the finish, it would definitely be this one, because Donkey Kong 64 is a massive fucking time investment, and I don't have that kind of patience. I already played through this twice. Could probably speed run it if I wanted to. That hurts to say. The thing is that this game, I want to say it's better than Donkey Kong 64 as far as switching characters is concerned, because you can switch between two of them on the spot, but you can only go into the level with 3 characters. So you can't go into the level as all of the girls, which means you have to exit the level and come back with some of the girls. And that's just Donkey Kong 64's tag barrel shit again. So I don't know, maybe it's not better than Donkey Kong 64 in terms of character switching. I can't tell you because I'm never going to 100% this game. I pathed out the route that requires the least amount of effort on my part. Oh, this just came to mind. By the way, this game has an extras option in the menu, and I was really excited at first because I wanted to see what kind of extras this game had. Like, you know, maybe some concept art or the soundtrack or hopefully an interview. I knew that wasn't going to be the case, but ideally an interview to tell me what exactly happened with this. You know. But instead, it was just a trailer for the film. The extras option is just a trailer for the film this game is based on. If I'm playing the game, I probably already watched the movie. Why is that? Why would you trick me into thinking this game had extras in it like that? The reason for that cut is because I fell down the platforms in this room so many times while recording. And it's not because this is hard platforming. The ledge grabbing is very lenient. It's actually quite easy platforming. It's just that I was so done with this game that I tried to rush through it much faster than I should have, and wound up falling down over and over for like fucking 5 minutes straight. So you don't have to see that. You don't get to see that. You just get to hear me tell you what happened. Why is everything so big? That was strange. You know, I think Data Design Interactive's 3D platformers generally had better resource allocation and a better sense of space than this. Like a Ninja Bread Man, Anubis 2, Trixie in Toyland, and what was that other one? Rock and Roll something? All of Data Design Interactive's 3D platformers, I think they had a better idea of how to use 3D space than this. And that feels wrong. Speaking of Ninja Bread Man, we actually got Ninja Bread Man new when we got our Wii because we didn't actually know any better, you know? Had a cute cover, had a cute name, and we needed more games to play on our Wii. What could go wrong with that? What wound up happening was Ninja Bread Man is actually one of the only video games we ever sold. We never sell video games anymore. If we were ever to rebuy Ninja Bread Man, we wouldn't sell it. But, there was some disillusionment when Ninja Bread Man was played. Because at first, you know, I was like, this game can't actually be that bad. And then you slowly come to the realization that it is actually that bad. The thing with Data Design Interactive's games, though, is that even things like Ninja Bread Man, I'm pretty sure they thought they were actually making good games. They weren't. But judging on the way the developers spoke about their games, their website, and their general attitude, I'm pretty sure Data Design Interactive actually thought they were making good video games. I recall vividly one of the Data Design Interactive developers arguing about something on a Wikipedia talk page one time. I wish I could remember what. But the thing is that I can look at shit like Ninja Bread Man and still actually go, yeah, that looks like someone cared. It turned out really bad, but yeah, that actually looks like someone cared about what they were doing, even if it's not good enough by any measure. And again, I can't really do that with this game. I just don't feel that here. I don't feel that someone cared. There are some brief, very brief moments, like the earlier room with that environmental puzzle where you slam the columns down. Very brief moments like that, where someone obviously had to do some thinking. But they're so few and far between, and they're all surrounded by this penetrating emptiness. I feel like it's good and important to get these thoughts out. They're not all pleasant thoughts, but it really puts things into perspective, you know? Next time you see people talking about how this or that is the worst game of all time, I want you to remember that this was on retail shelves for the Nintendo Wii and Wii U. Physically released. I own a physical copy of this. You saw the physical copy when the Let's Play started. This is real. You can buy this on a disc at stores. Because sometimes when I'm playing games like this or talking about them, I remember there were some poor, naive fools out there that still believe games like Mindjack are the worst games. And come on now. I legitimately think that after this is done, I might just, like, put together this jigsaw puzzle sitting next to me. Just because, I want there to be something between this and me recording another game I actually like. I think that after I'm finished recording this video, I'm going to put together this jigsaw puzzle, so that way I can have something to wash away the taste of Monster High 13 Wishes before I go on to recording a game that I actually really like. Actually, hold on, let me just open up the jigsaw puzzle. This room... same room as that one in the beginning, just this time one of the statues has rope on it. The rope is clearly visible. I don't know why whoever made these statues would put rope on the statue, unless they foresaw a platforming protagonist coming. But whatever, adds a slight bit of complication to this puzzle, I guess. I don't know, it's not like, you know, putting jigsaw puzzles together is thrilling or anything, but it's busy work, and putting together the pretty picture will distract me from Monster High 13 Wishes. I think the next room has a cutscene at least, so I won't really need to focus on Monster High for that.
Remember, no one enters palace without knowing secret password. Stop!
Abby! So glad I found you. Listen,
2 forms of identification. If you do not have certificate of birth, death certificate also accepted.
oh come on, Abby. Let's check out this palace. If I like it, maybe I'll get Daddy to buy me one just like it.
No one just enters palace. Ha! If you want to enter palace, you must know secret password.
Know the secret password?
Yes, secret password that is very secret, and no one knows, because it's secret.
The secret password? Well, of course I know the secret password. Who doesn't?
You know secret password? But how? I am not knowing secret password.
What? You mean you don't know the secret password? Well, I guess that makes sense since you're, well, you know.
Since Abby is what?
Well, since you're, well, you know.
What is it I know?
You're, just... No, let me finish. I was going to say...
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, you're Abby, and you're too cool for silly secret passwords.
This is right. I am Abby. Ha! You secret password people make me laugh. You are like little bugs that live on the round part of Yak.
In the nicest way I can put this, I don't really feel like that cutscene was written by real people. Doesn't seem to flow like any kind of conversation I've seen. Even conversation amongst unusual people generally flows better than that. Anyway, Abby makes ice bridges. It's basically just teleporting, except the animation is different. You really shouldn't care.